more to GearHead than
Ring
4
is
guys
off. It's
biting
over
at
there. I
people.
don't know, my pocket.
Starting to sweat. I'm getting nervous. Shut up, man.
I'm nervous.
Talking to your own self like, shut up, dude. Like, seriously, we're about to film right now.
Don't fuck up the intro, whatever you do.
God.
All right.
No stuttering.
All right, hit it, Rob. All right. Well, welcome to GearHead Square Table. I'm looking at some cameras now, but we're not going to do it the whole time.
Thank you.
So this idea brewed from me just being a ridiculous, obsessed gearhead. Years ago, we would be hanging out at the shop after work and drinking beers, bullshitting, talking about cars and stuff. And it just clicked one day, and I was like, I have to find a way to capture this. This type of stuff is just so fun, and that we have to be able to share it and capture it with other people. So I started compiling ideas, writing them down on my phone. I got a massive list of things to discuss and to talk about, and of observations and humor and all kinds of stuff that's based around being a car guy. So yeah, 2.5 years the idea's been in my head that I've been compiling the ideas. I don't like, every time I try to watch, as a car guy, I find it annoying, and you guys probably do too, when people are like, oh, do you watch this show? Do you watch that show? And I'm like, no. Like, every time I try to watch a car show, I'm annoyed, almost instantly. The only one I like is, what's the one with the old guy in Connecticut? Chasing Classic Cars.
Yeah.
That's the only one I like where I'm like, all right, I like this show. But all the other ones, I'm not going to name names. I just think they're all terrible. So we're creating our own little thing, and if people like it and want to watch it, great. If they don't, they don't. So as a car guy, you meet car guys all the time. You get set up with car guys, and people are like, oh, you got to meet so-and-so, like he's in the cars. And most of the time, I would say 80% of the time, these guys are idiots. They're just, you meet them and they're like,
Charlie's right there, man.
They're like, oh, yo, I had this, or I had that. And you're just like, it makes no sense. Or they just talk about stupidest shit. But one of the good ones I've had is, just meeting Gus. This is why Gus is here. Because a friend of ours, so long story short, we went to a dinner with a mutual friend. And he's like, oh, Gus is in the cars. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I started talking. We started bullshitting. And Gus is like, oh, I got this 240 I built. And I said, cool. Like, I'm not really into those things, imports. And then he told me how much horsepower it had. And right away, I was like, bullshit. It does not have that much power. So we leave dinner, and I'm like, I want to ride in this car. And he's like, oh, let's go. And so we got in the car, and I was just like, fuck, this thing is fast. It was crazy fast. And right away, I was like, Gus is my boy now. Like, it's an instant bond. I've had it a couple other times with guys, but it's funny how you can meet somebody and talk to them and not realize you're a car guy, and then all of a sudden you start picking up hints. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You just said that? What'd you say?
How'd you know about that?
Yeah.
You just use the term daily driver?
Yeah. You DD? Yeah, what? Yeah. So
What else you got?
here we are. We'll give a quick bio. I think the cast, if you want to call it, that's going to be us four most of the time. We'll have other people come and go, or if somebody has a scheduling conflict, some other people might come in. So we'll start with Gus. I already talked about you, Gus. So why don't you give us a little background on what makes you a gearhead? Another thing too is that we all fit under the gearhead umbrella, but we're all different. There's so many different. What's the word, Neil? Different genres,
Neil.
I guess. I don't know of gearheadism.
Right.
Gearheaddom.
Different kind of love.
So tell us when
kinds
you
of
became a
gearheads
gearhead
in
and
the world
what gets you going. What gets you emotional?
The smell of burnt rubber.
Yeah.
That gets me going. Started being a gearhead at an early age back in South America. Fell in love first of all with Volkswagen engines. That's where we have the most, since Brazil manufactures lots of them. Really easy access to parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, always been into cars. I like them all. I like them high. I like them low.
Yeah.
It's not always about speed.
That's another good thing. It's an appreciation of everything.
Yeah, for
So many guys get narrowed down. There's like, well, Toyota guys are the worst for this. They're like, it's all only. Oh, it's not a Toyota. I don't know.
I might have a Toyota.
So they are. They're getting their little clique and their crew, and they're just like, they won't even like look at everything. They're like, oh. Ugh.
I've got a Toyota too, and it's awesome.
Yeah, well.
It's super awesome.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that later about
We get into
the
Toyota
beige boringness of Toyota. But Toyota has some of the most iconic vehicles.
Oh my God,
ever.
I own a beige Toyota.
Yeah. So, well, that's a whole nother discussion. All right, sorry I got off topic. So yeah.
That's the basic idea of me.
Yeah. And Gus has had a lot. You've had a lot of rides since I've known you.
A lot of rides.
You change up a lot.
Yes,
You're
typically.
very impulsive.
When it comes to certain things, I could be called impulsive, particularly if I see a car that I really love and I gotta have it sometimes.
Yeah.
I jump.
Do you sell the last car to buy another car, or do you just keep buying them?
No, I buy and I sell.
Okay.
I enjoy them for a minute, and then I let somebody else with the same amount of passion to have it and enjoy it. You know.
Like him.
I feel like
Well,
that's
a couple weeks ago, Gus called. I saw him like the night before, and the next day, I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going to Atlanta to buy an M6." I'm like, "What? Like, where did this come from? You don't just go do that." Like, and he's like, "Well, I drove an M5 yesterday, and now I gotta have it." So it was like, I was like, "Oh, cool." It made me feel better because I
that was
like
using you as a reference.
I thought I was impulsive and crazy.
Yeah.
But so when I met you, you had the 240.
I got a 240 DS14.
Yeah, give us the specs on that.
That one has a stock KA24 engine, built 20G turbo, HBM Eagle rods, Weissico pistons, 262 Brian Crower cams, so
What
on
power?
and so forth.
What kind of power?
It was
you put in?
putting 419 to the wheels and 389 foot-pound of torque.
Which is a lot of power. I mean, like in
Oh,
today's day and
straightforward.
age,
Is
where you
that
got
through the stock rear end, though? Were you blowing parts up?
No, it actually wasn't. It held up quite nicely. Yeah, a regular. It was a 240 SX SE, so it come with the LSD, but still hold up
No blowing
nice,
diffs,
no problem
nice.
whatsoever. So
But how long did you have that car built? You didn't keep it that long once it was
I
done.
didn't keep it that long, but it took me a couple of years to get it all done, just for the whole image that I was going for. I probably kept the car for about a year after that.
Really? That long?
Yeah, maybe 8 months to a year.
Okay. Then you got rid of that and you got the E46 M3.
I went for the E46 M3, 6-speed, 333 horse. That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Great to go out and nice and calm, but not fast enough after getting down from the 240.
Yeah, that's
It
well,
felt
that
really
240 was
slow.
violent.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
it's
It
was
brutal.
violent.
Is the
Yeah.
word I used to describe
Yeah.
240s
Yeah.
with that much power. Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, how
Not
much power?
healthy.
That's plenty. That doesn't seem. When people say 400 horse, like that's not that much power in today's day and age. When
In
you got
that
production
car-
cars doing 700 horsepower, but
Right.
it was stupid fast.
2,700 pounds.
Yeah.
So you got one horse every like 7-8 pounds of weight. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's pretty quick.
Yeah. All right. So Willis, wild car Willis, who happens to have a thing for Willis.
No, so that's pretty
Jeez.
much how I got here. It's how you ended up with this thing
Yeah, exactly.
behind you.
Yeah, this guy is a bad influence when it comes to finding cool shit and then making me buy it.
I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm still looking forward to putting a bug on a Razor.
Yeah,
That is a
It
good
is
idea.
gonna
I'm
happen.
fully behind that idea.
yeah,
So-
that guy was my hero for that week.
Oh my God, that thing was nasty.
Yeah.
But no, I got into my first vehicle was a CJ7 when I was 14. And I've owned countless Jeeps from there. Definitely have a deep love for the old Willis. So
Yeah, they're really cool.
yeah, for sure. Obviously, love all cars. No discrimination here.
Nice.
High, low,
Yeah.
everything. Appreciate everything. Everything's got a good love.
I appreciate everything as long as it's not tacky.
Exactly.
Which
I mean,
we'll get to later.
Yeah,
We got
clearly.
plenty of hate in there.
Oh,
We got a hate fest. Neil, Neil, why don't you give us a little history on yourself there, buddy?
I've always been tinkering with stuff. My dad bought me a dirt bike when I was, 12 or whatever, and you take the exhaust off immediately and then realize that was a bad idea. So I just like taking stuff apart. Sometimes it goes back together. Sometimes it ends up in the basement in pieces.
But Neil's very disciplined. Neil's very patient.
I
And very
like to think of
disciplined.
myself as mature
And very
compared to
thrifty.
these guys.
That's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they remember
I do a
comparing
lot of
ourselves to.
research. You gotta do a lot of
He does
research
his due
before you
diligence.
buy
And he will walk
anything.
away. I've seen him walk away from deals and where I make up my mind to buy something
It's
before I'm
hard.
done. Like
It's hard, man.
with the Volvo, the guys that go on a test drive. I said nope.
That was a really nice.
I'm
That was
the same way.
That was an awesome car.
Nah,
though.
man.
And he insisted. He was like, "No, we're going on a drive." I was like, "I'm buying the car. Like, let's just get this done."
Did you
Stop
pull a
trying to talk
Carfax
me out
up?
of it.
That old guy was
Carfax?
amazing.
Carfax.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, don't get started on that. Clearly, I could never cut a van or a vehicle in half and then weld it back together, and Carfax not find out about it. So yeah,
There's no flood cars.
did you
between
go through all yours?
Carfaxes.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, I've just like tinkering with stuff, cutting, welding, designing. What I really like is just a good design. Two parts that fit together like they were supposed to. Oh man, nothing better than when a plan comes together as it should.
Yeah.
That is the best feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Like peanut butter and jelly kind of thing.
Yeah.
Artisan
It's an
peanut
18.
butter and jelly.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's the only kind of sandwiches you eat.
So
Gus
another
is
thing about
very
like being a car
particular.
guy is like through the years you get to hear some good stuff, but you also get to hear a lot of bullshit, like just crazy stuff. Like I remember years ago, this guy was telling me about his range. He had a Ranger, and he's like this Ranger was the strongest truck I've ever driven. I was like, oh cool, and he's like this thing was so strong he pulled the front tires off the ground from a stop, and I was like, what? I was like, what was done to it? He's like, it's off the showroom floor. I'm like, that's not possible. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Like, you think how many people have you told this story to and they believe it? You know, and there's like, oh wow, we hear about Joe Blow's.
I'm gonna go buy a Ranger.
Yeah, it's like it's not possible.
That 2.3, man.
But people exaggerate
Strong
things. They talk about miles per gallon and power, and they're like,
That's
they
the
like
one
to
I
make
hear
it.
the most.
They're like, well, I bought a 77 Mustang. It had factory 4 horsepower. It was a special edition made by William Ford III. Special ordered it, and I got it. It was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? So I told everybody to compile some ideas of exaggerated claims. So that was the one that pops in my head is a Ranger one always. But there's been so many. They come to me randomly, but I need to start jotting them down.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's so hard to like pinpoint one, and I guess the most that you're always going to hear about is like miles per gallon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like miles per gallon, and one of the biggest ones are 12 valve and 7.3 owners.
Oh,
Oh, dude,
That is bad.
I'm getting
Yeah.
29.2 miles a gallon on my 12 valve. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or Rob, I got 12,000 pound van. Rob, I love you to death. I got 12,000 pound van, 410 gears, and a 7.3 getting 24.5. No, you are not.
7.3
Yeah,
on
4
7
times that?
cylinders.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was 355.
Well, either way, you're still not getting 24.5.
He probably swapped.
Well, he does drive. He does have a sticker on the back of his van that says, like, don't honk, like, please pass. Like, because he drives so slow. He's in no hurry. What the fuck is he doing?
He's not. You ever ridden with Rob?
No, he drive fast?
I mean, he's a little. Yeah, he likes to.
He
He likes to.
on-off
He likes to
switch.
goose
My
it.
favorite Rob claim is that he says he can outperform the cruise control. Have you heard him give this story where
He's
he
more
says,
efficient.
I've set the cruise control on a few long trips, and I get terrible gas mileage. If I drive myself, I keep my foot rock steady,
Well-
and I can get much better gas mileage.
There's a I mean, that could be validated. Like, what
Not through Florida.
Like if you see a big hill coming up and you let off the gas and kind of accept that you're going to lose 10, 15 miles an hour
I
by
got
the time you
a
crest
5.4,
the
dude.
hill.
I'm gonna lose like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, like you can save some fuel that way.
300.
But if you leave the cruise in, especially if you're
It's
a
gonna
gasser,
downshift.
it's going to
gonna
downshift a
downshift.
second
Yeah.
to try to pull that hill.
Wide
Yeah,
open.
For
no
sure.
kidding.
What's
brings
your
to-
exaggerated?
I used to have a buddy of mine that had a Mustang. I didn't know the car. He said, "Oh, I got this Mustang. It flies, rips loose in third. It's just amazing." And I was like, "Wow, it's pretty badass." And
Yeah.
when I came
What-
to
what'd
see
you
the
do to
car,
it?
it was a V6 automatic convertible white top,
God,
Yeah.
and there was no way that the car was breaking loose in third gear. You
No.
know.
breaking loose
I
in
was
first
like,
gear.
And in his mind, it was just so quick. This car is it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, all right. And I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
about that.
I
It might have
smell
been
some-
a bit of an
I smell some
exaggeration
bullshit on that. Yeah.
on that one for sure.
My favorite is the amount of work that a project car is going to need. Your buddy shows up with a new project car, and it's like, oh man, this thing's in great shape. One owner, little old lady, driven to church on Sundays. Got a little bit of rust. Needs some rocker panels. Needs a floor pan. Needs rockers.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to need a trunk lid.
Like, you want a fucking body shop?
It needs a motor. It needs a motor, but that's it. The training is good.
Yeah.
What you sent Steve and I the other day was perfect. What was it? 4x2.
It was a Chevy truck.
Yeah,
it was a
like
Chevy
what?
truck that needed a motor and
Slips
a
in
training
third.
and a paint job, and it was just a 2-wheel drive, like square body style C10.
2x2.
2x2.
Two by two, not
2x2.
4 by
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
And he wanted like $3,500 for it.
That's a steal.
That's just like, did you get his number? Who do I call?
You get everything you need at LMC truck catalogs.
You can get
Um,
it.
Oh man, I lost my train of thought. I had something I wanted to say. So our buddy Jay came by and told us a story about this guy he knew, and one of his coworkers bought this new car. I think this was back in like the '80s, and it was like a Tercel.
I think it was
or
a K
something.
car. Was it a
Nah,
Tercel?
it was a Tercel, I think, and so the guy was just busting all the guys he worked with, busting balls like, oh man, I'm getting this incredible gas mileage. Like, oh, you guys, he was just nonstop about it. So somebody, obviously this guy was a genius, would go out during the day and they were putting gas in his tank. So they put like a cup or two a day. And so this guy's just like, I haven't bought gas in weeks. Like, this car's like, I'm getting like 150 miles per gallon. And they let it go on for weeks. And this guy just wouldn't shut up. So then they started doing the opposite. They started taking gas out. So they sent this guy, when I heard this story, I just died. Because I thought, that is the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. They completely just like ruined this guy. And they went from one extreme to another.
I bet he was at the Toyota dealership like,
He
what
went
is
from-
wrong with this thing?
Yeah, he went from like a static to like
175 mpg to like 3.
yeah, exactly. They were robbing him.
There's something wrong with this
I
truck.
tell you, yeah, my Jeep does that. It lies straight to my face. That little thing, it's like 16.7. I'm like, the fuck, you're not getting 16.7.
But
As
you
soon
like
as you're
to-
below half, that distance, I can watch it go
Gives you a
to
target.
the end. Straight up, can watch that bitch
You got
drop.
a hypermile like Rob does, dude.
Oh yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Anything over 70, you're getting 9.2 miles to the gallon. Downhill, downwind.
Yeah, there's just so many, man. I wish I had started keeping track of stuff earlier on in life. Just claims. and
Oh my God.
Well, you've got that
craziness.
list of every car you've ever driven, so that's.
I do. I
Good
stopped
start.
that actually. They became obsessive, especially when you like work in a car dealership. I don't know what promo would you just tell us? We're 15 minutes in. Damn.
I mean,
All right, cool. We gotta go. Let's keep it moving.
Sorry, can't
So,
see this.
let's do some current events, shall we? This is a segment I
Yes.
just invented right now called current events.
Gotta keep up with them.
So I had Neil pull up a few things. Where are we starting? We start with the JL.
The JLs, and this is a severely modified JL.
So
The first modified JL.
First of all, I think that they knocked it out of the park with this build. Like, I mean,
Yes.
I'm just like blown away with it. It's just like it's perfect.
We should
I'm
probably
obsessed
tell
with
what it is. A Dynatrac JL built by.
Yeah, somehow I don't know exactly. I think it belongs to Dynatrac. I'm not sure. Fred Dirt Every Day and Dynatrac did it with another guy that I don't know. That's I think he was a former engineer for Jeep. They went and got this thing like as quick as they could from the factory, drove it straight to California and took it apart, and I think they just knocked it out of the park. To where I'm like, all these other JLs are coming out that people are building. I'm like, boring, blah, blah. Like I'm sick of them already. I'm already sick of the JL because this one, I think, the only thing that could have made this thing cooler is like a Hemi.
Well, that's just because
yeah,
this
it
thing
looks
speaks
great.
to us. It doesn't have a bunch of light bars on the front.
Yes.
The wheel tire ratio looks great. The
Beautiful.
color is great.
It's got a I think a HD 60 front, an 80 rear.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
got an
it's-
80 rear.
Yeah, they're not fucking around with that. I mean, it is. I think it's perfection.
Rear cover looks great too.
Yeah. So
No side windows?
yeah, they eliminated
Yeah,
the door and
that-
then
Yeah, I
made
like
it
that.
kind of like a, I don't know.
LJ.
Yeah.
And some people are hating on the JLs. I don't find anything wrong with them, but just, everybody likes them. So some weirdo guys like us don't, just by default.
Well, we're just also purists. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what came out before. Well, all right, take it back.
Well, I don't wanna go that far.
The last generation before
So
that.
I think
It's
fun-
got
I
some
thought
cool
it-
updates.
Last week I was thinking like, well, when was the break? When was the date where it was time to get rid of your JK? To prepare for the JL. Because now I think that
2008.
now these are out and rigs like this are out.
2008.
Like
Yeah.
everybody wants to do these. This is the
Yeah.
new thing. So it's like, but now JK prices
Prices
have
are
to
going
be
to go through the
plummeting.
floor.
Yeah.
Because you can probably get cheap ones
Well,
now
that's-
from soccer moms that are selling.
Oh, it is
I
so
mean, I bet you
crazy
get a
because
2010 JK cheap, huh?
prior to that, 2-3 years ago, JK or Tacoma was probably the highest resale value, or it holds.
Tacomas still are. Like,
holds their
that's-
value.
That's
High.
apples to
Well,
oranges. You
yeah,
can't
I
compare
mean-
JKs to tacos.
You could have
Yeah,
when
pretty
JK's.
close. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it was hard to beat when you could
when they first
get a
came
new one
out,
for
I
30 and you're still
remember-
getting a used one for 24. It's like what?
Yeah, you couldn't find them.
29.
You couldn't
Yeah.
get them.
Yeah, and that was the thing. There was such a shortage for used JKs.
Yeah.
And then there's the year break, 2012, when the 3.6 came out. 3.8 Soccer Mom engine was like,
Yeah.
it totally went down the
Tertiary.
shitter. So 2008, 2012 is also that year that's going to be always lower than a 2012 to, what is it, 18? Just because that's just where it falls.
Yeah. So what's next?
We also have the
all
new
right.
Chevy trucks.
I think that is the ugliest truck on the market.
I don't find it unattractive,
I'm gonna
but
spill beer all over myself.
the distance from the lower valence to the top of the hood is like 7.5 feet. I mean, it's like
It is.
I
it's
feel bad
stubby.
for guys who change the oil. How do you add oil?
Well, have you
to
driven
it?
a modern GM truck? Their hoods are so huge you can't see anything. Maybe it's just 'cause I'm used to driving vans so much that I'm used to having good visibility.
Maybe
But
so.
the
Yeah.
trucks are the
Even
hoods are so
Steven's
long.
truck, it's like you can't see to
Yeah.
the end of it. You're
Yeah,
like, oh
you
my
lift,
God.
you're like, I don't know, is there
God,
something in my
things
right
like-
front corner? I don't know. I hope
Is this a full size truck?
There's a full
Yeah.
size. That's the
It's a new half-ton,
1500, I
yeah.
believe. Yeah.
I think it's
and
hideous.
I like the body lines. I especially like that rib that runs down the bed.
That fender though, the way it comes into
That
the grill.
fender is weird how it comes up and it matches.
Yeah.
The headlights.
That truck doesn't look as bad. I've seen other colors.
It looks a little bit soft.
Well, you know what's unique for
And
modern
it
truck
looks soft.
designs?
Yeah.
It's pretty. I mean, it's aggressive.
In-
But I
in a
think in the
f-
full size truck market, which is so huge and so like cutthroat, You know, I think the Dodge and the Ford are better looking trucks. I think even the Tundra is a better looking truck. The current gen Tundra.
Yeah.
I think how
I
small the
agree.
headlight is an interesting design choice. I mean, for the last 20 years, headlights have gotten bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
and
I
bigger
thought
and
there's
taller
something
and
needs to be
taller and
something
taller.
between there and the
you'd
marker.
think they would have dropped it down.
But does it really matter? Because like you know, GM guys are going to buy GMs.
No matter
Fords
what.
are going to
Yeah.
buy Ford guys.
Well,
Yeah.
but fleet prices are really what drives like the construction trade. I mean, the
well,
truck
Ford's been
sold.
killing that for
The
years.
truck sold per year, the most popular truck in America, F-150, which has
Right.
had that title for as long as anyone can remember,
Right.
is all based off fleet prices.
Yeah.
HVAC companies that buy a couple thousand of them at a time.
Yeah. I hope the rain isn't getting picked up on the mics because it is
Maybe just for
throwing
the maybe
down.
for the
Yeah,
body
it
lines,
is.
but it doesn't
It
make it
is.
look as a full size truck.
Good to go.
Looks almost like a
Well,
Colorado,
I
you
think
know.
they take some design cues from the
Yeah.
Colorado. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
what I
big
think.
thing,
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
I don't think the Colorado. Yeah, that's another thing too. People hype up. Like I remember when the Colorado came out, everybody
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
Colorado.
Baby
it's gonna be-
D-Max.
It's going to change the world, and it hasn't done anything.
Well,
you never really
yeah.
see
What
them.
are the sales? I don't even know.
I don't know. But
Well,
they
that
don't-
ZR2 has an impressive options package,
yeah, but the
Front rear
Tacoma still
lockers.
just like mops the floor. with.
which was an excellent segue into the
Baby
Ranger.
Raptor.
The
Baby
Baby
Raptor.
Raptor.
God, look at that thing.
Now, this is the same truck that they got overseas for several years, right? Because a lot of people
Rear
were
end of it for
posting-
some reason.
So there's been conflicting. They just released this week. Some guys are saying yes, this is because you can see it's right-hand drive.
Yeah.
Apparently this is released for was it Thailand, I think.
That might have been what I
which
read
is odd.
too.
I don't know why they would release it there first instead of here, but I don't know. Ford people are smarter than us. I think it's what we're gonna get. They just haven't officially announced it for us.
Jalopnik has an article actually.
It's like
Yeah,
a
it's
Ranger
a
Pull
red.
that up.
into a Raptor.
What's that?
It's
a,
almost like a Ranger.
It's a Ranger
frame.
Raptor.
It's a
yeah.
Ranger.
It is a
Raptor.
Ranger. It's
Yeah.
a new
Baby
Ranger, but it's
Raptor.
just a small
So
rat. Yeah.
here's the Ranger Raptor versus the real Raptor, I guess.
I want to know
Updated.
what's. I mean, apparently it's only diesel.
Only?
Only
Yeah.
diesel.
Only
10
diesel?
speed auto. Yes.
10 speed?
auto?
Yeah, that's what the new Ranger has. The new Ranger has a 2.3 EcoBoost, same motor as this thing, but with a 10-speed auto.
What?
Yeah.
So it's 20 inches shorter. It's just as wide.
Yeah.
And
the engine, look at the
a
engine.
few inches. Okay, yeah. So here's
Holy
the
horsepower
diesel
difference.
bi-turbo,
Good gracious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah, 210 horsepower.
I want to know what the
that's
price
actually-
is. That's my biggest thing, because that thing, it's going to be 40 G's.
But 210 horsepower is not really impressive
At all.
for a
No.
twin turbo 4-cylinder
2.0.
diesel.
Well, and
Bi-
just diesel.
turbo.
I don't understand the diesel. I'm so tired of diesels. I'm just over it. I'm over
Oh,
the diesel
yeah.
obsession. I'm over the diesel blinders. I'm over everyone obsessing over diesels. They're a pain in the ass. They're not as reliable anymore. It's just I don't understand.
Yeah, if you're not, I mean, everybody has the 7.3 blinders or whatever, but I mean, let's get down to it. 12 valve and the 7.3 was a good motor. I mean, they were good motors, and they're
Oh,
not
yeah,
made
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
any
yeah.
longer. I
No,
mean,
they
that's
can't.
that's
Well,
just,
Well, the problem is they
and
have
they
to have,
can't. You're right.
they have to
And
have system on top of system on top of
Emissions.
Yeah,
system. to
and
keep it clean.
that's the
Which are
major issue.
important, yeah.
You know.
Like a Dieselgate. No
Yeah.
one wants to repeat
So
that.
back to the
Yeah.
baby. Are we done with the baby Raptor?
We're done with the Baby Raptor.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
And we're done with the Chevy truck.
We're done with the Chevy
Oh
truck.
man, we are
And we're talking about
working through my list. My list is done. Are we getting on to our hate fest?
We're on to
All right.
things that we don't like.
So I gave everyone homework to find the worst car modifications that they could find. We all found some pretty cool shit, I think. Some of it's one-off.
it's not cool.
Yeah.
None of it's cool.
Well,
I hate it all.
Yeah. It's
What the hell are you talking
not
about?
cool, but it's like, what
Some interesting,
Cool to talk bad
interesting choices.
cool in the realm of what we're looking for. So let's go. Who's up first? Do we know?
Whatever picture pops up.
Okay.
My choice.
Okay.
Chris is up first.
My choice. All right. So
Why did you pick this?
Where do we
because
start?
it offends me. It's ugly as hell. It's like the ugly. I think this trend started with the JKs because these aftermarket companies were like, oh, what can we do that's going to make us stand out in the JK market? We're like, everything's been done. So they're like, well, let's just make some like really hideous, grills and
Did you see what's around the? Did you see what's around the
windshields.
windshield? Yeah, jeez.
It's just like, and I look at this
There's
and
a
I'm like,
light bar built into this
Into the
windshield
win-
surround.
The
I
angry
look at that
windshield.
and I'm like,
Cowl.
and I don't know if it's that I dislike the truck as much as I dislike the people who would want that. You know what I mean?
I don't like. It's just so busy. I mean,
Yeah,
from
it's
a
just so
design
much, man. Like, what are you gonna
perspective,
do with
winter
it?
whales
so
kill me.
The only
many
attention you're going to
angles.
get, you drive a truck like that, is from idiots. Like people who just don't know anything.
Well,
They're
Yeah.
like,
here's
oh my
another
God,
big
that's
thing.
cool.
I mean, this fender is squared off, and then they've got this big black stripe that's a curve. I mean, that just
Defining it.
It's too much.
yeah, it's like
It
what-
doesn't make sense.
It's like
Who
here
in the
begins
off-road
the
market is
skirt.
like, you know what? I just need I need less wheel wells.
That's clearance, man.
Bump
I
stop
just-
manufacturers.
I want bigger tires,
Bump stop
smaller wheel wells.
manufacturers
Yeah, I
want
want to put the
smaller
biggest
wheel
tire, and
wells.
I want to squish my wheel wells down.
Clearance overrated. You know when you go
Yeah.
modding.
What are those 20s, 24s, 22s?
And they're rock stars, which
It's
I've
a big wheel.
I've
But
been
it's
anti-rock star for a
not-
long time.
But it's
Oh,
not
since it came
an
out.
XD addict or anything. It's not an unattractive rock star. It's a 5-spoke wheel that the
Yeah.
wheel could be a lot
I'm
worse.
surprised they didn't add like body color accents to it.
The wheel would be a lot worse.
I just think it's hideous.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just like, ugh.
Side mirrors are stuck.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, it's bolt-on bullshit.
Chrome top of the side mirror?
Well, I mean, I guess this front section is bolt-on, but good night. Somebody's got some man hours. In
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah, they
I
could.
hope it's aluminum. You
if you
imagine
were,
how
I mean,
heavy?
like it is. You bring out the chrome on the mirror. Like that's the only thing. That's the only chrome left on the
That's what I
truck.
was saying. Is that
it-
chrome on the top? It looks now it's even worse.
No,
It's like,
the
Yeah.
side steps. Those are factory side steps, aren't they?
oh, that's even
yeah.
worse. How could you do all that to the truck and leave factory fucking side steps on
well,
there?
yeah.
It's true.
God.
Because they're not.
Just so you know what it is, dude, because you might not know what truck it is.
I was
Look
gonna,
at the size.
like the transformer coming down the road.
I was gonna bring up this might be like an in-process build pick, but it looks like they cleared the shop pretty well.
That's
They-
well lit.
They turned the wheel to the
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
a little bit.
Right.
No,
This
they knew what they
is-
were doing.
Yeah.
This is a presented truck.
I snagged this off Instagram. I'm not gonna say where, but I snagged it off Instagram, and it's definitely like a product. It was like a show off pick.
It was like a
So
please buy
cool. Like
this.
I'm sure the guys who own it or built it are super cool and they're awesome, but I hate it.
Yeah.
Next.
Hey.
Oh. Fucking truck nuts, man. Dude.
I don't know. Are truck nuts really still a thing?
This would not have been my thing if I wouldn't have seen it 2 fucking days ago
Now-
coming to work in Fletch, wherever we're at, right around the corner.
Are these
Yeah,
Toyo MTs
there,
though?
right here.
Is this your favorite tire, the Toyo MT?
No, that's not.
That is not a
Toyo?
Toyo,
Oh,
no.
some
Okay,
off-brand.
all right.
Dude, who thinks that like when you're driving down the road, it's like, yeah,
Anybody
dude.
wants to see that.
Well, and time out. These are not like stock truck nuts.
No, those are
like
enlarged.
extra-
Those
they
are
sell-
those are the XL nuts.
Funny story. When these
Yeah,
things
come on.
when these things first started popping up on the scene, I was talking to a
You
guy
wanted
who was
some.
a publisher of the big magazines, and we were chatting about it. And he's like, "Man, you wouldn't believe like the phone calls and emails I get about these truck nut
This is
manufacturers."
nuts.
And they're like, "Yeah, literally." So, like there was like all this
Classic
like
us.
internal wars of the truck nut manufacturers, and they would like all like
What?
trashing each other, be like, "Man, his nuts don't look authentic like mine. Like, you know, my veins are better." And the guys
Oh,
are getting
what?
Can you zoom in on this?
getting really worked up over the
Ah.
the quality of their truck nuts and why theirs are better than the others. But at one point in the major magazines, you could open up in the back and you would see at least 3 or 4
Set of nuts.
advertisements for truck
Oh,
nuts.
I'm gonna have targeted advertisements on my Instagram page. for truck nuts where
Everybody's
we
phones
live.
are gonna have
yeah.
nuts fly all over the damn
Somebody
place.
made some money on some truck nuts.
Those are some realistic.
And that's the
nuts.
thing.
cashed
We
out.
can sit here and hate on this shit all we want. Someone's laughing all the fucking way to the bank.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
True.
Off
Especially
of
once
nuts.
they start making those
One
camouflage
nut at a
ones.
time.
Off of
Oh,
Yeah,
All
Actually,
right, what do
parents,
we got
huh?
next?
What
Truck
do we
nuts.
got?
What do we got?
Oh.
Bossa Socko style.
So
Here we go.
what? And so is this a Maxima though? Is this an early Maxima?
That's
What-
some-
what
Or a
did this
Cressida,
car
maybe
has?
maybe a Cressida, Toyota Cressida.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
might
a
be a
Jeep
Cressida.
Cressida,
Yeah,
yeah.
might be
Yeah.
a Cressida,
This is
which were
obviously
awesome
Japan.
cars too, though.
Beautiful.
But this style, I just don't get it.
I don't see how it can function.
Look, I kind of get the rest of the car,
guy's
like
got a
whatever,
whiteboard, like,
but like,
ramp on
what's
the
up?
back
Yeah,
wheels.
what's up with why did they have to go so high with it?
It's,
mean,
it's an exact. I mean, it's
Obviously it's an artistic.
it's a caricature of how it started. You know, they started probably with a 6-inch turned up pipe.
I think that back in the day there used to be a motorcycle, affiliation
chopper
like,
thing,
a,
yeah.
like an Easy Rider. thing.
Yeah.
And they used to remove mufflers to become louder in Japan,
fins,
and they started
yeah.
with this Bossa Socko stuff.
That's what's it called? Bosso Soku?
Bossa Socko style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we got one more picture here.
Oh, look at this
Oof.
Honda.
Should've zigged
yeah.
when
I
he
don't know how
zagged.
that functions.
I mean, that.
Now, this is a super clean Civic hatch, though. Like, am I right? The rest of this car, I
Has
don't
anybody
hate.
anybody
That's
ever
clean.
been into those cars?
Civic
I've-
hatches?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never ever.
I
thought
would
they were
DD a stock
Oh, I mean, it's no
Civic
different than any other
hatch
Civic.
all day.
but,
They,
yeah.
I mean, no exaggeration. They get 50 miles to the gallon, and they're
Sure they do,
spirited to
Neil. Who
drive.
told you
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Now, I'm
Sure
not a
they do.
huge fan of the stance
Yeah, I had this
wheels and the
conversation.
body kit on this one, but a stock one without the exhaust.
I've
I'd
never
ride
been into
all
them,
day.
and again, I think it's the reason I never got into it has nothing to do with the car, or it has to do with the people who drove them.
That's a good point.
Or
Have
maybe-
you ever driven one? Like a stock Del
Uh,
Sol even is like really
No.
fun to
I
drive.
drove a Civic Si, I had a Fit, So
that fit was a great car.
That fit was a great car.
It's not far off the money from
like a
this thing.
Civic Si. I
This
drove
was
it
a
like
early
2008, 2009, and I'll tell you what, it was a fun car to drive.
This is a 90s Honda Fit, for
Yeah.
sure.
For sure, yeah. I'm a huge Honda guy. I love Hondas, but I think it's just I never like the people.
I
who
think we
drive
got.
this
I
car.
think
And
we
you
got
never
one
got
more.
that kind of exhaust in it either.
I did not.
No matter.
Ah.
Oh.
But
Euro
look,
cars.
the exhaust must come out here.
Yeah,
right?
for
It
sure,
doesn't
for
go
sure.
through the star.
Nah, but
And
his
if your
car
car
is
is
a
a
star.
start, why not show it? Just show it. It's like,
Embrace it.
I mean,
It's
why
rocking if
not?
you got it, yeah.
You know,
He said if
nothing
your
wrong
car is
with
a
that.
star, just show it.
Star of the show.
Just from another functional standpoint, how hot do these pipes get?
They probably don't get that hot.
You don't
I
think
mean-
they're like a big heat exchanger? There's dissipating heat. I mean, but
I
like
bet they don't
side
get that
pipes on.
But what
like,
does it sound like if something's coming out 15 feet higher than it's supposed to? Is it gonna be like,
I don't. You can't hear it probably.
yeah, like you barely even hear it?
Yeah. I don't.
Something tells me you can hear it.
I think you can hear
Does
it.
it go
So
from like
it's
a
just a real
chainsaw to a
long-
weed eater?
It's just a real long
or,
resonator. I
Yeah.
don't know.
They gotta have some seat.
Why don't we
plates
start
on
the RS and we could answer this question right now?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
get some pipe.
Let's see what
We
we
do.
got.
Pull the bender out. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
pull the
what?
fender out.
We'll bend something real
Yeah.
quick. In the wrong place to
What
ask
do
the
we
back.
got
next?
Gus's exhaust. What do we got next?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
we missed the
One
Lambo.
I have a Lambo
That almost
though.
looks
Lambo.
photoshopped.
That
It
almost
does
does
look
look photoshopped.
Yeah.
You know what? The color. Now that we're looking at this wrap.
Look at that
whole
fucking
thing looks
wing, man.
It's like a leopard.
Because look at the weird reflection from. Are those lights?
Those are
that
lights, bro.
supposed
It's not a
to be
reflection.
Lambo
Yeah.
guys. So do you?
That's a
when I
classic-
see a
that-
That's the side of the wing.
That's a classic stube. I
Ah,
ordered too
you're
many
right,
lights.
you're
Got to
on
put
the
them
side of the
somewhere.
wing.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
What am I gonna do with all the rest of this 8-inch stainless pipe I bought?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think we all
Polish
agree
the
that's
fuck out of it.
photoshopped.
Yeah.
I think that's a photoshopper. All right, here we
The
go. I
license
think-
plate doesn't. It looks photoshopped.
But
too.
what is not photoshopped is these yellow door card inserts. That's
Yeah.
not cool, man.
Oh
yes.
God, look at that
Very
hood
dark.
scoop.
This is different. You have two subjects.
I got two subjects. This guy needed to go fast.
Is that
he
real?
needed air, and he needed it now.
he needed air. He wanted it now.
What kind of car is
fuck
that? Is it
visibility.
Mitsubishi?
It looks like a Swift.
Oh,
maybe a
it
Suzuki
is
Swift.
right-hand drive.
Suzuki?
Is that car not
Maybe?
right-hand
It
drive?
must be. Is it a Suzuki
Yeah.
Swift? Because those are great cars.
I
though.
believe so. I
Couldn't
believe
you
it
get
is.
turbo
can't even
Swifts?
see.
You could get a 2.0, I think.
So do you think this is a turbo Swift
Uh,
that needed?
it-
Clearly, it
looks
needed to
like
stay
it.
cool.
That's
it
a
looks like
super
it.
super cold air intake.
Man, that's not safe.
This is like me driving V6
Well, yeah,
around
like,
because
wait,
I don't
whoa,
have a
whoa,
fucking
What's
mirror.
this? That
mirror.
looks like a cruiser. What's that in the background there?
Maybe
It's
a
like a
Land Cruiser
100
Hilux.
series.
Yes,
100
it looks like a 100 series.
Maybe a Hilux? That's probably a cool rig. Is that a Volvo? You got an
It is.
XC90 back
relax.
there?
Yes, and you got a
Maybe that's a
3
IS?
Lancer?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely.
Is that an IS
We're
right
over.
there?
Yeah, that's cool.
Beautiful.
All right.
We're having a good time. It's
We'll
first
go one
episode.
more. Next
So-
page.
So what are we thinking? Oh,
more
one
exhaust.
More Gus's exhaust.
Excellent. It was built out of Legos. The whole
Yes.
car.
I don't know,
Fuck.
man. I
It's
don't
just
get
they're
it.
caricatures. You know, like Gus said, it starts with motorcycles with some turned up pipes,
But
and it just escalates.
I wonder how many
It goes up
mods
from
that
there.
start off like this, where guys are just like, you know, and then but after a while they kind of
They
catch
start
on.
Well, it's the
catching up.
exaggeration, like I was talking about earlier with the car's not that rusty. They say, I'm not going to mod this car. I'm going to keep it stock as my DD. You buy a Toyota Cressida, 6 years later, you've
Snowball.
got yeah,
Pause,
snowball.
dropped.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you
Negative
can't see out
convert.
the windshield because you've got an HVAC duct on the hood.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Niels.
Ugh.
This is my find. We got another
God,
deal
this
here,
is
too.
so
Did you
terrible.
actually take these pictures?
No, I didn't. They were on
Oh,
a Facebook group I'm a part of. Photos of shitty cars. Little shout out.
That is awesome.
What I think we have here is the rear bumper from an S10. We thought it was an Explorer. I did some research. Explorer license plate cutouts are much narrower, so
Yeah.
you can see how wide the
Yeah.
step is here. I think it's an S10, 94 to 2001.
And
Who
you would
cares?
think you would think
Who
off.
gives a shit what
yeah,
it's a
off of?
yeah.
rear bumper.
But
Somebody
that's
might
the
wanna
thing,
replicate
and
this.
at first look, you're like, is that a
Nobody's gonna
swing out
email me
tire
like, hey, man, can
carrier?
you find out what bumper there is? 'Cause I'm
Oh, it
looking
does
for
look
that.
like a swing.
That's what I thought. I was like, is this a swing out tire carrier? And then it's clearly
Some pipe,
this
some conduit
guy's
from
idea
Lowe's.
of a stinger bumper.
Yep.
I thought it was the beginning of a house.
Or it's a joke.
Well,
Like, it's
it
an
looks like
obvious
it's out of
joke.
shop here, but these, I mean, it looks like somebody took care of this thing. I mean, it's not.
I don't know
super
about take
beat
care of
up.
it. It's got a black hood. The
Yeah,
rest
look
of it's
at that.
white.
Maybe it's,
Talking about,
it's
took
radio
care of it.
pointed.
Or no,
Oh,
silver.
Look,
Look.
the left and right fenders different colors. They
Yes.
are. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's at a body shop. Maybe somebody had a bumper kicking around as a joke. They
This is one of those we're gonna find on like stock mobbers. You know, what do they call it?
Oh
Stock
yeah.
mobbing.
Yeah.
Trophy Barrow's gonna.
Trophy Barrow's gonna do a stock mobbing on it. Yeah.
Creative.
Free plug for Trophy Barrow.
Yeah,
Awesome
they
page, one of
do,
my
they-
favorites.
Yeah,
It's
it's good. Yeah.
They put some cool stuff. All right, so that porch.
Yeah, it's straight silver. I thought the hood was black from the other side, but it's straight silver and
I
white.
think it's at a body shop, and I hope that it was.
That's
a
not at a
joke.
body shop.
Yeah.
Whoever owns that
That
thing
was-
is not spending any money on
yeah.
body work.
No.
It's not-
Clearly,
That's a done.
they
that's
put a
done
rear
product
fucking bumper
right
as their front bumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's somebody who's like, all right, well, what are we gonna use? Okay, this is free. I'll put this.
It literally looks like 2 different cars from each side of the car.
It does look like 2 different cars. If not for that S10 rear bumper on the front, I'd think it was 2 different Jeeps.
It looks
I want to touch
mean,
back on the Lamborghini thing, like Lamborghini guys. So rich guys
Like me.
want to be car guys, but they're not really car guys. They usually go out and buy a Lambo. Like you go to Cars and Coffee and you get some tool bag. He's
Or
like,
GTR.
pulls in up in a fucking 10-year-old Gallardo, and he thinks he's just the fucking shit. Or, and then you get the worst thing I find about going to Cars and Coffee, which I don't go that often, is there'll be some cool stuff there, but then there'll be like some guy will roll up in a GTR and like pop the hood, and then like every kid there is just like, oh my god, like this what kind of magic happens under this plastic engine cover? Like there's nothing to see, But meanwhile, there's a guy who pulls up in like an '83 K car wagon that's like cherry, and that's the guy I'm talking to.
I'm not talking to the K car guy.
I'm like, where'd you get this car? And there's always a cool story behind it. Or I met another kid at Cars and Coffee had an SVO swapped Ranger. And I was like, and it looked like a complete turd. But I looked at it, and I was like, damn, this thing's fucking cool. Like this is awesome. Like this is the coolest thing in the show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find that like rich guys who just buy exotic cars and think they're automatically into our club. They're not in. You're not in, buddy. I'm sorry.
No.
You're not in.
He said,
Not
not
yet.
yet.
Well, but you go from that 10-year-old Gallardo to the next step up in the car guy exotic, because there's a lot of car guys with money to buy really nice exotics.
I think we should.
And you end up with like a diesel Audi or something gnarly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right,
we end the first one.
A little toast. Pass the jar.
Salud.
All right. Well, we thank everybody for watching. We hope you enjoy the show. We're gonna probably start monthly, I think, and then we'll see what happens. If we get some momentum, maybe we'll start doing it bi-weekly.
That'd be good.
Bi-weekly would be where it's at.
Yeah.
Sure.
So give us a like on Facebook, Instagram, follow us.
Yes.
Please like the videos, tell your friends, and
See you
we hope
next time.
to see you guys on the next show.
Cheers.
GearHead Square Table on Instagram, GearHead Square Table on Facebook, and
GearHead Square
soon to
Table.
be on YouTube. And that's it. Yeah. Thanks. Everyone have a good day.
Yes. Thank you.
Cheers.
GearHead Square Table,
I
baby.
didn't pull up
Come
the
on.
fucking moonshine.